Godspeed to the city streets. We began to feel the fire.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wow. Welcome to part 3 of Foundations. Welcome. Well, I don't know how I started reading the Bible here, but I just want to, honestly, this is how I'm grafted. So, I'm gonna start by reading a scripture for you. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 18. It says, "For you know that it was not with perishable things such as silver or gold that you were redeemed from the empty way of life handed down to you from your forefathers." So this is Peter saying, there's something that was handed down to you from your forefathers. But I mean, it's good news, because he's saying you are not redeemed by silver and gold. Of course, he's talking about you know what redeemed you, if you are redeemed. Because if you're not redeemed, then fighting these things is going to be hard, because only one thing can fight these foundations. You cannot do it by yourself. This uprooting, you cannot do it with your hands. You cannot do it with your money. There are people who have foundations that are not money based. You have so much money, but there are things that just like keep screaming. So like there's something else that you need, and it's not money. And because I'm not in church, I'll not tell you now. But I want to read for you something else in Judges chapter 6 from verse 24 to 26, I guess, right? Yeah. So Gideon has an assignment, but as I said, foundations can be your limitations. Foundations can stop you or deter you from reaching your destiny. So Gideon is being given an instruction. He's tried to do something, he's tried to build so foundation, roots, altars. So Gideon is trying to build an altar on top of another altar, and here are some instructions that Gideon is given. So Gideon built an altar to the Lord there and called it "The Lord is Peace." Even when you call it "The Lord is Peace," to this day it stands in Opera of the whatever. That same night the Lord said to him, "Take the second bull from your father's herd, the one 7 years old. Tear down your father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole beside it." So Gideon is being told, I want you to bring down your father's altars. I want you to bring down whatever foundation your father had laid. Then build. Then I like the instruction. I like the instruction, and I feel like that's the instruction that we are being given today. I like the instruction. It's a direction you're being given. God does not leave you to the wolves. He teaches you. He guides you. He directs you. He's telling Gideon what to do. Then build a proper kind of altar to the Lord your God on the top of this height, using the wood of the Asherah pole that you cut down. Offer the second bull as a burnt offering. I don't know. That is so strong for me. That is so strong for me. Some of us need to the foundation that we need to tear down, bring down. We've been trying to build on top of foundations that are not godly, foundations that we've not acknowledged and we've not renounced and denounced. We are here praying. Honestly, my heart becomes very, very heavy, and I've said why my heart has been so heavy, especially lately. And if you followed my channel, you know my story. You know that I've been going through a divorce, or I'm going through a divorce. And what breaks my heart is because as much as there are very many things, there are very many issues, but when I look at the foundational issue, it makes me feel sad, not for myself. I'm always ready to be used by God. I'm always ready to be to be that example. I think I said a long time ago, when I was very faithful with orphans, when you go through stuff and you're faithful, I see like God says, okay. I'm not saying that God made it happen, but I'm saying God just turns it around for good, because He's like, okay, you were so faithful with when your parents died. This is what you did for orphans. You advocated for them. You did this and this. You helped so many go to school. Okay, fine, pass the test. And I feel like when I pass this test and I go through another test, like, okay, now let's see. And I feel like I've understood in a very, very great way how foundations work. And I am telling you, it does not matter how much you pray. And I'm not blaming all this on foundations, but I'm saying there's something that speaks. You're trying to work on this, but something else is speaking. Because when I look at some things, I'm like, oh my God, this is so demonic. I just look at it and I'm like, oh my God, it has a hold that is not even normal, that is not natural, So anyway, so you must acknowledge. I'm saying this, and I'm telling this to the people who are very, very prayerful. I don't want you to waste your tears. Pray as much as you can, but pray with understanding. Let the eyes of your enlightenment be opened. Let the eyes of your understanding be opened. Open to know these are the things that I'm supposed to be pulling down. And you've been given weapons that are not carnal, that are strong in pulling down strongholds. What are these strongholds that you are being told you are pulling down? And now you assume you don't have strongholds, or you just go and you pray around the strongholds, but you're not uprooting the strongholds. So acknowledge, what is it? How come? How can you be comfortable when the entire family has something that is going on? You know your family. You go look at your family. How can you be comfortable when every child named this goes through this? How can you be comfortable when you are struggling with the same thing that your aunt struggled with, that your aunt's mom struggled with? How can you be comfortable and think that, okay, the devil is taking advantage of our ignorance, and we are giving him the opportunity to do that? So you may not call it anything else. I've written a book called Close That Door, and I'm going to be going back to classes for Close That Door, because that is what God is leading me to. And I wrote this book, Close That Door. Yeah, that time God was teaching me these things. This is in 2019, when I was in a lot of pain. I wrote this book in 2 months. Record 2 months. If you ask me, that's the most powerful book I've written. Like, I don't even know how I learned these things. God taught me a lot of things. God taught me a lot of things in that season. So if you don't want to call them anything else, you can call them open doors. So there's this open door of not getting married. There's this open door of being uneducated or limitations to education. There's this open door of divorce. There's this open door of premature death. Hey, should I even go into that? I'm not going to be very personal. If and when I start the classes, I'm going to be very, very personal with you, because I want you to understand a lot of things. But as I come to the end of this part, I want to tell you that God is faithful, and God can teach you even that which you do not know. In your ignorance, He can teach you. And I remember, I don't know if I think it was 2012. When my aunt died, my mom's sister, when my aunt died, I honestly will never understand. Okay, I know it's grace, but how God gave me that revelation, because I remember I called my aunt Diana. My aunt was at my house, and I said, "Auntie, look at this," and I want to cry. Today I'm kind of emotional, and I said, "Look. How old was Auntie when she was dying? 38, going to 39. And I'm like, how old was mom when she was dying? 39. How old was mom's other sister? 39. How old was, okay, I think their brother was a bit younger. But my mom, her sister, my mom, and two of her sisters, and her brother, all die before they get to the age of 40. But at least the three of them, I know they die at 39. I mean, like, just before they get to 40. And I told my aunt, Auntie, this is not normal. I do not even know how I have had so many revelations of so many things, and some things I can't even talk about. But I've had revelation on so many other things that I've called attention to. I've said, okay, hey, look at this. I'm very good at counting days, numbers. I'm very good at looking at things. The other day, I told my friend something. I had a dream, and I told my friend something, and I said, but this is what I had. That was like last week. I said, this is what I had. And it was a certain number. And then I said, but it was yeah. Then I told my friend, but I woke up and I told God, you're saying 9 months, but it wasn't 9 months. This is 9 months, 3 days. And I sat down, I wrote the dream that I had, I wrote it down. And then I kept praying, and I kept looking, and I kept calculating. I kept going back and forth to the Bible, writing, and I was like, dang, got it. I had missed a date, and it was exactly 9 months, because my friend was telling me, oh, it's you were just specific. It's 9 months, 3 days. I said, no, God is not a lie. He said, I just had a voice tell me 9 months. And I said, he said 9 months. He didn't say 9 months, 3 days. I am very, very specific. I don't look at things just like that. I believe nothing just happens. I totally believe we are spiritual beings, and I believe that everything that happens has a meaning. I believe that we live in a spiritual world, and everything that happens comes from somewhere. I'm not superstitious. I know I've been accused of being superstitious. I have been, by the way, but I feel like I have, I don't want to say intuition, but I feel like my discernment is high. It's like, I feel like I have a lot of discernment, and God has taught me a lot of things. So when I talked to my aunt and I said that, I told my aunt, you know what? We have to pray. And we prayed. So 4 of your siblings have died, all before the age of 40, all just when they're getting there. Then guess what? We calculate. So my mom's mom had died at the same age, or almost the same age, because when you tried to calculate, we were like, okay, by the way, it could be this same age or even younger. But I met my great grandmom. So my mom's mom. That's mine. So there's my mom, there's the mom, and then there's the mom, right? So that's my great grandmother. I met my great grandmother, and she was like really old. Something is in my eye. And she was really, really old. So I know that premature death did not start with her. So I know that there's a door that was opened when my grandma died. And this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm calling an open door. That we see people die, and we don't pray against that. Like, you see, oh my God, I hope someone can take me seriously. I also feel like some special prayers must be done even when people die. Like, once that happens, once we bury you, we now close that door. We say no other person is going to die at 40. We refuse accidents. I mean, people are not going to die in this family through accidents. So I feel like there was an open door, and it didn't start from my grandmom, from my great grandmom, but from my grandmother, my mom's mom, who did not see her first child. Then let me tell you, my mom, of course, doesn't see her first grandchild, because nobody has a child by then. And then my last aunt, the aunt that died in 2012, dies when the daughter is pregnant. So I know this is something that has opened, and unless someone is aware and closes it, the devil can take advantage of that. So listen, Know what is ailing you. Know what is fighting you. Know the doors that need to be closed in your family. You think the devil gets tired? You think the devil stops there? I don't want to talk about anybody else, but I'll tell you what happened to me when I got to 38. Not here, and not maybe not in this forum. I'll tell you someday. But I remember that day, I just touched my stomach and felt a lump. At 38, I have the doctor's report, and I just laughed and I said, devil, you are a joke. Even you're not wise. Like, you think you're gonna come the same way? Like, please have some creativity. And I closed that door, and I'm gonna give you that testimony soon. I'm going to give you that testimony. So, before I get done, I want to tell you, before you get married, before you start dating or in your dating, please sit down, you and your boyfriend, you and your girlfriend, you and your fiancé. Go through just learn as much as you can about their background. Let them know about your background. Then you too know what to break. You two know what you're bringing together. Can you imagine this open doors and this open doors, and then they come together? Then the both of you know this is what you're gonna be praying for, or this is what you're going to pray about. So you don't get to know someone's background for you to leave them, or for you to. But I want to know. Tell me about your grandma. Oh, okay, so your grandma married. Okay, tell me about your okay, tell me about your mom. Tell me about. You want to know? Oh, tell me about your family at large. Then you know, is this something that I want to do? Is something I'm willing to continue with? Or are we going to come together and pray about these things even before we become one, so that we're not fighting like bigger devils, That's it from me. That's it from School of Life. I told you I want you to learn as much as possible from life experiences. Keep it locked. This is School of Life with Sonny. Check out.
We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young, and it's just